Live tonight from the virtual Las Vegas Motor Speedway, we say good evening, sim racing fans, and welcome to the season finale of the 2021 RealSimRacing IWRAPS Winter Series. We're happy to have you with us on RaceSpotTV for a 10th and final week of RSR Winter Series action. We're, as always, alongside myself, Evan Pasoko. I'm joined upstairs by Jonathan Burke. We got Dylan Coyle in the car, Hugo Luis downstairs in the production trailer, and Jonathan will recap. We'll talk much about this season throughout the night. But tonight, two drivers come to focus, Matt Danson and Andrew Frinage, head-to-head, both with a chance at walking away tonight with the championship. But a very different context between the two of them. Andrew Frinage, as we've talked for the last 2 years, has been the best driver in Monday nights for some time. A three-time defending Cup Series winner and champion, and a two-time defending Winter Series champion. But he is on the back foot coming into tonight's race to the newcomer, Matt Danson. Danson has led the way this season with 3 trips to victory lane, including just 2 weeks ago at the Indianapolis Road Course, and he is the driver with the lead, 7 points atop Frinage into tonight.
Yeah, and it's going to be, I think, a tight heavyweight fight throughout this race. We've seen these two be at the front on almost every track we go to, and these two have been trading blows, trading wins, and I think the only way Frinage can win this championship is getting the win here tonight, and Danson, the only way to prevent Frinage from getting the win is getting the win himself. So it's a heavyweight fight out front between Danson and Frinage. But keep in mind, there's still other title fights. The only one that's really secure in their point spot is Michael Lariah, who pretty much has third locked up unless something unforsaken happens to him and he disconnects. But everyone else, they're still fighting for points and they're still fighting for pride. So there's a lot to fight for, not just between the top two in this field.
And a lot of these drivers are already starting to turn their focus towards the Cup Series campaign, which starts next Monday night with the Clash at iRacing Super Speedway. That's going to be another fun year of competition back here on RaceSpotTV, with SimSeats signing on as the title partner of the 2021 SimSeats Real Sim Racing Cup Series. But at least for the final time in this IWRAPS Winter Series, qualifying is underway under the lights from Las Vegas. And as we take a look at that single car qualifying session, I did want to mention a couple of more people that have been a big help to this. I know that we've talked all season long about our friends at Extreme Performance Motorsports for providing the lucky dog, or the underdog, I should say, of the race award. They've been paying out that $5 prize every time that's been awarded all year. And today they added another $100 donation to 3 Square Food Bank, because that was the whole story behind this Winter Series. And I think combined now, this series has raised enough money to donate about 1,500 meals to those in need over this Winter Series. So that's super cool. And also a big shout out to our friends at Boosted, who are our title partner friends with the Cup Series last year. I'm wearing my RSR shirt tonight, and it is going to be available through the end of next week. So if you want to get yourself some RSR IWRAPS Winter Series merch, go to RealSimRacing.club for more info on that. And of course, IWRAPS, we can't say anything more about them. Jonathan, been so supportive of this series, and we tell you every week it is the best place to go on the service to get a paint scheme. They can do totally custom work, or if you want to go a little bit of a faster route, go to IWRAPS.shop, and you can get basically a pre-made paint scheme. You can customize it, your colors, your logos, and get it for close to $10. So there's nobody else better in the game than our friends over at IWRAPS, and none of this would be possible without all those people I just mentioned. Of course, our entire team behind the scenes at RSR, our RaceSpot team, everybody who's in the booth on Monday nights, and of course all the drivers on track for this one.
He's just pouring his heart out right now for everyone.
Got to get it out.
There's just so much love and just emitting from him.
Well, look at that, Dave Washington talking about drivers who are going to be back. A longtime RSR veteran. He's ready to go Cup Series racing. He ends up P9 on the standings, but look for the big names. Top of the board, Matt Danson, fastest with a 30.942. Andrew Frinage down in 13th. 13th position. Danson has been significantly better than Faridaj all night. Granted, we've only been on the air for about 4 minutes, but this session's been open for about 40 through practice. Danson was the fastest driver in practice, and right now he's at the top of the qualifying charts, Jonathan. In the case of Faridaj, he was down 7th best in practice and only 13th best in qualifying. Appears to be off by quite a bit right now.
Yeah, but it's a long race that we have here at Las Vegas, and we kind of saw at Michigan like this thing go green for a while, so maybe Faridaj is really, really good on the race pace. And the other thing is, I don't know if I think you mentioned it briefly, we haven't been to a mile and a half all season. This is the first and only one. So we already have some names, up in this list that haven't been there yet. So we have a lot of dark horses to compete in this race, because qualifying is going to wrap up here.
One final opportunity to look for a race win, maybe to close out your winter series on a high note, to enter the Cup Series on one as well. But the main storyline tonight, the championship. Let's go trackside. Take a look at our IWRAPS starting grid, and it is the championship leader, Matt Danson, on pole position for this one by a huge gap back to the number 2nd place starter for Agnew. Phillip on the outside of the front row in P2. Sam Nieto, Kyle Trudell going to make up row 2 with Jeremy Miller and Brian Chambliss on row 3. 7th and 8th going to go to Bobby Krug and Braxton DeWeese with Joseph Tice and Michael Lariah, your top 10.
You mentioned veteran David Washington lines up P11. Dane Cruz, haven't seen much of him in the Winter Series, lines up alongside him. Kyle Kamer came 3rd last time the Winter Series ran here, and change-up contender Andrew Freenage needs to get a good result here. Aaron Weinmaster, 2nd place last week in 15th, and Nick Marr, he's hoping for a good result in P16. Eric Stanford, a bit of a dark horse throughout the season, is looking for a good result here in 17. Dominic Howe in P18. Matthew Marr lines up 19, and John Ellenberg, another one of those underdog kind of mid-tier runners, lines up P20.
And continuing on through, Ross Cato finds himself 21st. Dylan Jones in 22nd. Shane Parrish, Stephen Price, and Tom Morano, your top 25. Through P28 are the drivers with times. That'll be Leschinski, Kuczynski, and Weaver. And the first 2 provisionals go to Liam Sheen and Daniel Eberhardt.
We have a total of 35 cars here tonight, and these guys did not qualify, just taking provisionals. Steve Durham, Sean Kalis, 31-32. Michael Moser in the 33, R. Dillon R. Coyle in the 34 position in the 79, and Rita Valderrama in 35th.
Look top to bottom at our starting grid. We know the tail of the tape for Las Vegas Motor Speedway, the only 1.5 mile racetrack on the calendar. Tonight's race 188 miles, and there's an onboard look with all our drivers as they get set to do battle. Matt Morrow, Bobby Krug, Trevin Valderrama, Gary Weaver, Ross Cato, and RaceSpot's own Dylan Coyle. Dylan, one last time, we do know that you will be full-time in the Cup Series next year, but at least one more time in these Xfinity Series cars. What are you looking for tonight?
I'm looking forward to not being in the Xfinity cars before. I don't love them. But apparently I cause issues while talking on broadcast. I just looked at the post. What?
Drama at the end of the year. Drama.
Yeah, I'm good. I've caused 2 cautions all year. Both were in the beginning of the races.
For the record, I'll look at our points, penalty total.
Yes,
and your
please
name
do.
is not, it's not on the list. So.
It's not on the list. You're right.
There have been other drivers that have gotten into more issues. It's the season finale race. How do you have fun here? We'll stay out of the championship picture.
I just want to race well. Keep my head out of any trouble. Just try to make the best out of this finale of the season. It didn't go exactly how I wanted. Got some good experience, and so close to a top 10 3 times. Don't think I'm going to get the bounty done for IWRAPS, but we'll see. There's still this race left.
One race left to go in this RealSimRacing IWRAPS Winter Series, as we have been all season. Happy that you're spending your Monday evening with us for this coverage of RSR on RaceSpotTV. The pace car down and in the field in the hands of your championship leader, Matt Danson. For the last time this year, we say, let's go racing from Las Vegas. In the back,
someone's in the wall.
Great off of the bat in this one. It is Michael Kuczynski around, and it stops before it could even start. It looked like a big checkup, and Let's see, the 30 car. Yeah, you can see up the road, Cato, somebody had a blink, and Kaczynski auto-man out the one that got turned.
Yeah, I
just nowhere to go.
You can see from my angle, it was I had a pretty decent start. Everyone just was slow and came right up back up the track. You know, I think the tires are still fresh though, so I'm going to stay out.
So a early yellow in this one, going to put Kaczynski a lap down and is going to shuffle things up a little bit up at the front of the field. The one thing that I was almost worried about is because the yellow came out so quickly, did Danson possibly lose the race lead? The answer is going to be no. Agnell Phillip tried, but the 05 will maintain the race lead in this one. And not to, you know, already get into it, the race has just started, hasn't even started in some respect, Jonathan, but this is already in favor to Danson, right? So we talk about Ferdinand looking like he's on the back foot to start this race. That's a lap lead and a bonus point for Matt Danson. So that difference between those two now effectively is an 8-point difference between him and Ferdinand. So that's going to increase. Again, the way they run on track right now, it doesn't matter. Matt Danson beats Ferdinand in any order, no matter where they're in the field. He is the 2021 Winter Series champion. But that first bonus point right out of the gate, I think, is big for the 05.
It's amazing right now, actually, because we had to, half the field had to wait for the pace car to come around, and now Danson is a second behind, or half a second behind me. There is a lot of confusion going on right now, guys.
Yeah, we love when we get an early race yellow and the running order gets all shuffled up. So there may be some clears necessary or an extension of the yellow, but a lot of wave arounds going to happen. It looks like everybody from 25th, 24th or so on back are behind the pace car. So when the lights go out on top of the pace car, they're going to have to go all the way around and catch up. So we may might extend the yellow.
Yeah. You're an admin. You can do that.
Yeah, we have the power.
You have the power, Evan. You do. You do have the power.
Well, let's use, as we're under yellow, and there's not really much to talk about because we saw it happen on the yellow. Let's see if Hugo, we can get the webcam up just so I can show off our shirt again, because I know I mentioned the plug that our friends at Boosted last year with the Cup Series were helping us with. So don't forget, RealSimRacing.org is where you get all our league information. But if you go to RealSimRacing.club, you can get your iRacing merch. Now, it's limited time only. Our Cup Series merchandise is already up, so you can get the SimSeats Cup Series logo on a hat, a T-shirt, whatever you want. You can also get, there it is right there now, I'm rocking mine in the corner. You can also get the RSR logo instead of the Series logo, but if you want an IWRAPS Winter Series one, these are gone in a week. So I know that a bunch of the drivers have gotten them. I've gotten one, an RSR hoodie. And all that money goes in to support the league, pay for the broadcasts, and pay for the sessions and all that. So certainly a cool thing if you're a driver or a viewer to get some gear and rock one. But just wanted to plug it because the Winter Series stuff is gone in a week, and the Cup Series stuff is up now. So you can be the first one to get your hands on a SimSeats Real Sim Racing Cup Series logo gear. So that's super cool, and happy to have them on with us for 2021. But, give our friends at IWRAPS some love and our friends at Boosted for making that happen, for being a part of this Winter Series. So I had to get the plug in. I know I'm not the only driver rocking the merch tonight. I know a couple of drivers are wearing it. Some of them don't have the cameras, but it's a good way to support the league and get some swag. So I think I'm done, Jonathan, marketing for now. I'm trying to thank everybody because it's the last race of the Winter Series, but we got to thank everybody for making it happen, because if all these people don't pitch in to make this happen, we're not doing anything on Monday night. We're racing and hosting instead of with these great broadcasts. So got to give love, right, to everybody who makes it happen.
Yeah, and you gotta market the shirts.
It's good. It's a
marketing
comfortable shirt. I will stand by it. It is soft. The logo's big. It's not small and cheap. I mean, it's good stuff. So RealSimRacing.club. Yeah. We just telemarketing mode.
Hey.
Yes.
We're still being told, should we just pass the pace car right now? This is so odd.
Yeah, everybody's going to pass, and we'll extend the yellow here.
Thank you. This is weird.
I think it was just that, since the pace car didn't, fully
half the field
stop.
was past the start-finish line, the other half of the field was not.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well,
Gotta love it. That's the behind-the-scenes aspect, right?
Oh, yeah. It's beautiful. the way you just threw that caution flag puts, what is his name, Bernie to shame.
It's Barney.
Yeah, Barney on the flag stand, yeah.
Oh,
He needs
yeah.
For
help.
shame. You don't even know the flag man's name.
I'm sorry.
Well,
I'm
we have had
focused on
some
something else.
We have had some rough races. Martinsville and last year comes to mind. Barney works hard sometimes when he's, working on 15, 20 yellows a night. So
Yes.
I step in. I try to help him out when possible. So lights back on top of the pace car for a moment. The lights will go out this time by, and we will try again. Hit the reset button, put the opening 6 laps behind us, and actually get this IWRAPS 125 underway. And I think it should be a good race. We talked about this at the end of last week, Jonathan, and I know that you already touched on it, the fact that we don't a schedule that's normally made of not all, but mostly intermediate tracks. This time around only had 1, so we don't really know, outside of our championship favorites, who we expect to be good on every week, we don't really know who's going to be that surprise guy out there. You got guys like Brian Chambliss, Sam Nieto, right there up inside the top 5 with, Agnell Phillip. I mean, first time on an intermediate this season, an opportunity for some drivers.
Yeah, it's a good opportunity. I think a lot of guys showed their speed in qualifying and in practice, and I think Phillip and Shameless, and also Jeremy Miller, last week's winner, showing good speed. He's up in the top 10, but this is going to be interesting, as it looks like it's going to be a single file restart since we did not complete a lap.
Yep.
So that's not going to play into Freenodge's hands.
Didn't we have a restart off of a first lap incident earlier this season, and it went back to 2 wide?
I am not sure, but it is working tonight. Per our rules, where if there is a yellow within 1 lap of the restart, or in this case, 15 seconds.
Love this start. It is the best possible start to the finale.
So it is a funky way. That's maybe, it's a sunset and we're racing into the night here in the entertainment capital of the world. So maybe it's a full moon night from Viva Lost Wages to get the season finale kicked off. Let's try it again. Pace car, down and in, field in the hands of Matt Danson, green flag, and this time we're racing at Vegas. We can see with the onboard there with Bobby Krug just how much that single file restart spread things out. There's no challenge for the race lead. Danson continues to lead. Krug, who you were looking at, is comfortably P7 as this thing is off and away now. Everybody but Michael Kaczynski, who was the driver turned into the fence on that initial yellow on the lead lap right now. Kaczynski's a lap down. Other than that, finally got some feet underneath ourselves working lap 10.
I feel like that restart didn't really help anyone but Matt Danson, honestly, because everyone's, spaced out. They can't really get any positions until Ty wears out. However, as I say that, Agnell Phillip is looking on the inside of Matt Danson, so maybe Danson's not too safe out front, but not a lot of changes of position so far. We're going to have to wait and see how long this run goes on and how the tires wear out and how the drivers do with that.
Yeah, saw a bit of a peak that time, but he's still about 0.2 or so off of the back of the 05. If anything, he needs to worried about this challenge. Nieto looking to the bottom from third. Not going to happen, though. He will tuck back up and in line. You got to worry about the bumps, kind of center off, both in 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, but maybe a little bit more so down in 1 and 2 when it comes to that tighter corner exit versus that more open, relaxed exit off of 4 where you blend off it into the tri-oval. It can move the car up the hill, and you you could end up into the fence with the push pretty easily. 1, 2, 3, 4, all separated by about 3/4 of a second total between them.
Stephen Price, he just tried to run me down low and just spun himself in the grass.
No caution. We're good for now. The 22 is off and in the grass, but now rolling on the apron. So no caution. This race stays green. That was a battle back there for 30th and 31st between you and the 22. And
yeah,
you can see Price on track into now all on his own. He'll be caught up to pretty quickly by the race leaders. Here they are now going off into 1 and 2. And he's able to get going enough where he's not going to be an issue with the lead cars. As it looks like Phillip closing in on Danson now, trying to open up a bit of a gap over Nieto, third on back.
Was there any contact or foul play from me right there? Because I didn't touch him.
All I saw was some grass flying and a car down and on the apron.
Nah, you're not going to say it.
Well, we were kind of watching the battle for the lead. At least I am.
I
so
know.
I know.
I just have a personal vendetta right now. I don't think you guys... I don't think the viewers are well aware of why.
I am a neutral.
I know you're
administrator.
We're supposed to be neutral.
Yeah.
We are neutral and subservient only to good racing. So.
Okay, fair.
That is my only vested interest.
No nepotism here.
Correct. My only vested interest is it's good racing on track. And talking about that battle for the lead, you can see your top 6 actually kind of pulling just a little bit. We saw that huge gap that Bobby Krug was kind of missing up to the car up the road. We were on board with him for the restart. That's only continued to grow. So you can see with our all-new race graphics, left-hand side of your screen, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, all the way down through the 27 machine to Jeremy Miller, who was just a week ago your race winner at the Talladega Superspeedway, becoming the 100th different points race winner in RSR history. He's at the caboose of this 6-car pack.
Yeah, it's interesting to see like each driver's get a bit of a run and where certain drivers are stronger and weaker. I think Sam Nieto is really, really good on entry into these corners, but then on exit, that's where Kyle Trudell has been able to close up on him. And even though it's a fixed setup, you can tell there's so many different driving styles just within this group of 6. Now the question is, if this goes green, who's going to be the best car in the long run?
And that maybe is why some of the drivers may be hanging back a little bit, trying to conserve. We talked about, we were pre-race, some of the tire fall off when you have these B cars at some of these intermediate tracks on the current tire model, and how you need to manage that. That is the name of the game, even in open setup racing, but specifically in fixed setup racing on the sim, is managing your tire wear. You can see that battle has broken up. It's going to be for third, though. Trudell going to go the long way outside around the 2 of Sam Nieto. He'll get the run off of 4. He's not going to clear, though. Nieto maybe using a little bit of that apron to try to stay there. But the longer they go side by side for third, the more this will help those top 2 from trying to pull away. But it looks like the outside the place to be, and Trudell makes that pass. He'll go 4th to 3rd.
Yeah, this is one of the reasons why I actually love racing in Las Vegas, whether it be the Cup car or the Xfinity car. There are 2 lines for passing, and you can make both of them work. It's just you got to find the right rhythm. You got to ride the corner right. If you try and get up in those grooves, you can see the lines on the track. A little bit of bumps, little upsets in the car, that could really ruin your run. But you can run both the top and the bottom. You may see not a lot of passing right now, but I think later on in this race when tires wear off and I think a little bit of tempers start flaring, we're going to see a bit more action.
On up front there, look at that shot there, how close some of those cars were getting to the outside wall, and 2, that included Agnell Phillip, who is still trying to hound Matt Danson. Danson has led every lap thus far. We talked about that, making his championship lead an extra point atop Faridaj. If he could lead the most laps, that would be another bonus point available to him. But you can see Faridaj not doing much mid-pack, stuck in 12th position right now in a battle with Tyson and Kamer and some of the other guys. So Danson maybe needs to worry about these cars behind him, but honestly, if somebody like Agnell Phillip wants to force the issue here, Phillip looking for a first RSR win, I'm not going to be throwing blocks on him. I am in a really good spot points-wise with Faridaj back there, so let's see if the 94 wants to push him here and maybe make him decide if he wants to be aggressive for the race win or if he wants to kind of play that points move.
The other thing, too, is like Agnell Phillip has shown signs of speed. It's been a rough year. He's had some bad luck. I think the big crash at the opening lap of Montreal is what comes to mind when I think of the 94. He's shown pace, and he's been up here in the top 5s. Looking at the chart right now, he's actually got 3 top 10s. And I think this is just kind of a pride race for him. This is I need to go out and get a great result. And I think of a lot of these guys, like Sam Nieto, who missed the opening at Daytona, this is also a pride race. Go out and get a good finish. So if I'm Matt Danson, these guys start getting racy, I'm just going to be like, yep, okay, you can go back.
There's somebody for like an Eberhard as well, who, you know, we looked at the points, is maybe too far back from Lariah for that 3rd spot in the championship, but trying to hold off Ross Cato. That could be a good battle between those two. They're back in 22nd and 24th respectively. So, you know, maybe Kyle Trudell in 3rd right now in a position to launch himself to 4th in the overall points. This is all a statement, you know, a momentum, a kind of show me race, because automatically, when we start the Cup Series, as you can see now, Nieto back on the inside of Trudell and trying to take the 3rd spot back. He lost it on the bottom, but he may take it back down there in 1 and 2. The 7's going to stay in the gas, and they'll stay door-to-door down the Nellis straightaway. But as soon as we go Cup Series racing, the conversation is going to go to who's going to be the championship for. Ferdinand, probably Danson, based on his performance. You got Eberhard and Lariah. Those may be your favorites. Does a Dylan Jones get in there? Where's that extra spot, right? Who's going to boot somebody out? Is it going to be Agnew Phillip who takes that next step? Can it be that 2 of Sam Nieto? Even a Kyle Trudell as well. All of these drivers are top 12, top 8 playoff cars, I think, given the right circumstances, can take that extra step. Granted, we're not going to be racing for the championship in the Cup Series for some 7-8 months, but this is on their mind. They want to prove against these guys that have had their number, hey, I can get it done, or especially for the newer drivers like the Phillips, like the Dansons, proving that they deserve to be here, and they deserve a lot of respect from the longtime RSR veterans. As you see, Nieto did get that spot back for 3rd, so back to where we started. 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. No changes up front behind them. Chambliss able to get around Miller for P5.
Yeah, that accordion's starting to widen out a little bit. You know, Miller was only a second away from Matt Danson just about a handful of laps ago, and now it's 2.5. It's starting to open up, and good thing for Miller, he's got a big gap down to David Washington, but there is a pack of cars in that midfield. Andrew Freenouch is now starting to go on the move, and it's 2 and 3 wide going into turn 1 back there.
Eric Stanford also hit the fence in turn 1. He has parked his car, so he'll wreck at a 15th position, so a bit of drama in the middle of the pack. But you're right, Ferdinand's in a hornet's nest right now. He is on his way forwards, though. Started 14th, up to 9th, and there's 2 more spots right in front of him. But how is he going to navigate this? Washington holding the bottom on Deweese. Behind him, you've got Lariah, you got Tice waiting to pounce if Ferdinand isn't aggressive here. He'll stick with the bottom for the moment. Side by side up the road, it's for 7th.
And these are all tough customers to pass. Like, it's not going to be easy. And the other thing is, you got to keep in mind, if these guys keep fighting like they are, that gap to Jeremy Miller only grows and grows and grows. And, you know, it's going to be in about 20 laps time. We're going to be thinking about pit stops maybe as well for these drivers. So where does that going to fall in?
3 sets of tires available down on pit road, so they should be well clear of needing, to make any ration decisions unless we get to some yellows to restarts, and maybe that will affect the pit strategy. But at least on a green flag race, granted there was that opening lap yellow, but once we got underway, it's been pretty clean and green since then. Not a concern on running out of tires. The concern is going to be where do you pinpoint the usage. There has not been a ton of fall off, but we're already close to 1.5 seconds, and that is pretty quick for about 24-ish laps of green flag racing, even less so since this race started. So there is that tire fall off as we take a look on board with the number 12 machine, of Cato, looking up to the 13 car of John Ellenberg. That's for 22nd and 23rd, and always impressed at how calm Ross looks from behind the wheel.
Even we've seen him in like 3 wide situations. I think it was Lucas Oil we were riding with him for like 2 or 3 laps, and you and me were kind of freaking out, and he's just like, yeah, just chilling, just vibing, just a casual stroll 3 wide at a short track. No, it's no big deal.
Yeah, just like driving on the freeway. I mean, nothing to it, especially in these bigger packs of cars where, you see everybody kind of stacked up together. Just looking at some of the big movers, you got guys like Eberhardt, who probably wanted to qualify better than they did, up 9 spots. He started 27th, is up to 18th, but again, still a long way to go. And you can see there, Cato was down 2 from the start. So anytime someone's taking advantage of something, someone's going backwards, there's the plus-minus left of your screen. You can see those top 4 have remained pretty strong. And Freenage, the biggest mover, though, up 6 spots, and maybe one more now to the inside of Braxton Deweese. This battle for 7th on track, and the 88 is one of the best cars on track right now. He'll clear Deweese, not really, but the 3 will let him go. I think a smart call by that 3 Chevy, and now Freenage up to position number 7, plus 6. He is on the move, but he's about a second behind the next closest car. So you can see these 5 cars behind him. Those spots were a lot more in rapid succession. He's going to have to work a lot harder and longer now for each spot from here on out.
But you mentioned it, he's still fast. I mean, he clocked a lap time last lap, even though he was passing Braxton Deweese just a tenth slower than Matt Danson. So it's not impossible for the 88. Again, it's going to be a long, I think, green flag run, and it's going to be just coming at him one at a time. But he can still do it. The problem he's going to have, though, is he's providing a good amount of draft to the 3 car down the front and back straightaways, and that's going to keep this whole group in tow.
It's going to be awfully hard for him to pull away. Further down the running order, there is the one of the Matt Mara entries for Matt Mara, one of the Mara brothers, I should say, battling with the 11 machine. That's Dylan Jones. You've also got Daniel Eberhardt into the mix as well. So a good 3-way battle here. Jones pushes high. Mara had to get all the way out of the gas. Again, turn 2 is going to be a problem spot in this race. We've already seen it take Eric Stanford out of the race. I've seen at least a half a dozen cars come real close, and there's a shout out to Matt Rock and the RSR merch, bottom right corner, RealSimRacing.club. Make it happen. You can see him looking down. He's checking his gauges right now with the VR goggles. So we're in the fixed onboard camera on his roof, but his VR goggles allows him to look around anywhere in the cockpit of the car he wants and just kind of keeping an eye on things. I'm sure keeping an eye on the engine, in the oil temp and whatnot, and just monitoring the gauges. But he also seems pretty calm to be in a pretty aggressive battle right now. That 03 of Shadabarius Leschinski up the road on the bottom, about to join a heavyweight fight between Daniel Eberhardt and Dylan Jones.
What's going on with Bobby Krug? He's slowing down.
He has, I don't see damage. It's only 34 laps into this race, but Bobby Krug has come down pit road for service. This would be a 3-stop strategy to pit at this point, and I would think the consensus would be maybe to go for a 2-stopper, but it certainly appears to be a scheduled stop. He's going to get right side tires up. He's fueling. I'm expecting it to be a 4-tire decision. Yes, it is. So it doesn't appear to be for damage or a penalty. Maybe. No, now he is sitting in the box. So maybe that right side of the car is hurt a little bit.
He's clobbered that outside wall.
I know he was close on several occasions to turn 2. He didn't hit it on the lap prior to pitting, but that doesn't mean that he didn't hit it at some point, and it looks like that this is basically just going to end his night. He gets it fixed, but that's 40-some-odd seconds in the pit box, about 25 seconds more than what it took to put the 4 tires on. So maybe Krug trying to get some of the right front damage fixed up. Can't really lose a ton here in the point, so he'll just get the car fixed, and a disappointing or a lackluster way for his Winter Series campaign to end. Another one of those drivers, to the point that you were making, Jonathan, a bit earlier, drivers who have had real good runs at points this year, but just haven't been able to find that on a week-to-week basis.
Yeah, he's, again, flashes of greatness, and I think also, like, I've been in the wall quite a few times, and when you hit that right front, it can really mess with that right front tire wear, and that's the tire that normally wears out the most on these cars. So that sort of damage, it probably just was hurting the car more and more and more, and it can really make the wear different. You can see Winemaster as well. He's got damage as well, and the toe's even a little knocked out. As we saw Durham diving down the inside of the back straightaway, almost collecting Krug in a little bit of a kerfuffle. But yeah, not everyone's running around here all clean. Some of these drivers are wounded.
Lap traffic now going to be a factor for your leaders the longer into this race we go. You're looking at Dane Cruz going high, wide, and handsome, trying to work around David Washington. That's going to work out for him. That progressive banking from 12 degrees on the bottom to 20 up the very top is what allows those big runs off of the corner to kind of come to fruition, and that's why Cruz was able to pull so much on Washington down the back. So he'll move up to position number 11 and now set his sights on Joseph Tice for the final spot inside of the top 10.
Looking back at our leaders, unfortunately, 27 and Miller has really fallen off, and I think Nieto is just taking advantage of Agnell Phillip. There goes the 2 machine. And yeah, we're starting to see the long run fatigue get to some of these drivers. Phillips falling behind. He's fell off a little bit from Danson, and now Nieto has him. And Miller's gone backwards. Freenach picked him off. Chambliss is the next one going backwards. He's almost a second and a half back from the 7 car, Trudell.
Yeah, they're going the wrong direction, and Danson has been able to hold his advantage there. You see him up the road about 1.3 seconds ahead of your now second-place runner, Sam Nieto. And with all these cars falling back, there's always somebody to take advantage of it. Freenach is still about half a tenth slower than Danson per lap, but it is allowing him to get positions. He's all the way up to position number 6. It is about a 2-second difference, but eventually, if the trends continue, he'll get towards Chambliss and Trudell and Phillip and Nieto. The question will be, is that going to happen on this green flag run? Can it happen on a green flag run? Or is that 2-second total difference? You can see his all-white car coming off of the corner. It's a better part of a straightaway between them at the moment. Is that going to be too much of a difference to make up if this race goes green? Is he going to need a yellow at some point? Or when you find yourself 5 seconds off of the race leader, does that put you automatically into the mode where you have to gamble a little bit with the strategy? Either go way early on the pit stop, go way late, because the fastest course of action or the safest, kind of most sure way may be to just pit right on your number, but you're not going to win this championship 5 seconds off of the race leader. This is not a position that Freenach is always in, but I remind us to go back to the Cup Series finale at Phoenix last fall when Michael Araya was seemingly set up to win the Cup Series championship. Freenach was on the back foot. That was because of strategy in that race. Yellow came out. Freenach got tires late and went on to win a 3rd straight RSR Cup Series championship. So when I say he's not used to this, I don't mean that there's no precedent for it, but it's certainly not a position that he's in a lot. So he'll try to chase them down in position number 6. In fact, the last lap, he was better than Danson by a 10th and change. So it fluctuates. Watch that gap now, down to sub 5 seconds.
I think we have to remember these battles are going to be won on and off pit road as we see someone getting up into the wall. I think it's the O2 machine that was trying to stay out of traffic, just all out of shape, and now it's going to create an issue for this mid-pack battle right here.
There was smoke and nearly 4 wide, and that was Valderrama trying to avoid David Washington and Jeremy Miller, who were side by side for 10th and 11th. There's more sparks flying in the desert sky down the back straightaway, all in and around that battle with Miller, and just ahead of him, even the likes of Dane Cruz, who we haven't talked a ton about tonight, but 9th in the running orders, looking real good. And there's Valderrama a lap down right now, just watching and trying his best to stay out of the way, right, with those other drivers flying by. And there's moments where you end up 3 wide, 4 wide at a moment's notice, and as that lap car, you do have to kind of hold your own and be awfully careful to not take them out. That is the one thing, if you're Danson or Freenach, that you don't want to happen, is that you don't want that championship to be decided by somebody else, right? We were so happy that both of them survived Talladega last week because they want to determine it on their own. And, you know, we don't take everybody else off the track when there's only 2 drivers with a mathematical shot at the championship. Everybody gets to go at it. So working around lapped cars is going to be a huge point in this race, as it is any given week. And that's going to be happening top to bottom. 28 of the 35 cars who started this race still on the lead lap. A handful of cars a lap down, but still on track at the moment. Danson has been the consistent at the front of the field, but the action is still in this group. You know, DeWeese is a little bit ahead of it in 7th, but they're all trying to get him, right? Cruz, Laraya, Washington, and company 4 cars separated by 0.3 of a second. If you want to add Lariah to the party, make it 4 cars separated by half a second, and now some 3 wide nearly behind them with Daniel Eberhardt trying to get around Tice. He's already got Miller. Can he get a second spot?
That 90 machine is hard charging and on the move, because where did he start? Down in like 28th, 27th. It was not a good qualifying run for Daniel Eberhardt, but he's been the biggest mover, and now we're seeing the comers and goers. Jeremy Miller was all the way up in P5, is now falling like a rock. He's down in the 13th. He's going to be in the clutches of Lashinsky here if he's not careful. And I think that's the problem with that mid-pack group. I think DeWeese is kind of holding up Cruz in Washington, but they just can't find a way around him.
And a bit tight, that time off of 2 in Tice's case will allow the number 90 of Eberhardt to get on through. So he will move himself up into position number 11. He is now your biggest mover in this race at plus 16. That is the biggest mover, though, of drivers who did not take a time in qualifying. He was on a provisional, so maybe intentionally try to work his way through the field a little bit in this one and make some moves. Closed it in on halfway, going to be 50 laps down, 75 laps to go from Las Vegas Motor Speedway. That 30 car was the next, or the most recent driver, I think, almost into the fence, Michael Kaczynski. So you got to be on it at all times. When a race goes green like this, it's very easy to become complacent, right? And kind of lose that edge a little bit. And when it can get tight and end up in the wall in a split second, a single car mistake for a single car yellow, always in the cards.
Yeah, and it's almost frustrating as a driver. I personally love a loose race car. I love when iRacing gives those fixed setups and they get the back end always gets swirly. There's a big cloud of smoke down turn 2. I'm wondering if someone just hit 81 miles an hour and got sent back in time. But here's a...
It's 88 miles per hour.
88. Oh! Save it, Liam.
Liam Sheen is going to come to pit road. I believe that was the plan. He had said that he was pitting, but the 81 machine to Shane Parrish behind him obviously didn't read that or see it, because he didn't move up to give him any space, and that was nearly an incident. Sheen's got damage on the back end. Here's Sheen's look, and again, he did say pitting. Right here he slows down, and then there's the tag by Shane Parrish. I will say that is a great piece of driving by Liam Sheen to still get that thing down to pit road speed in time.
Yeah, I had a little bit of a reaction earlier when these two were fighting. Like, those two have been fighting all race long. We haven't really seen them much, but those two got into each other in 1 and 2, so I don't think this little battle's going to be over yet. There might be some yelling over the radio between them if we're not careful.
Not the only ones coming down pit road. Quite a bit of service. Steve Durham is down pit road as well. Michael Mosier also in. A handful of other drivers have pitted in recent laps. The likes of Stephen Price, Dylan Coyle, Bobby Krug, who we saw the first one in that appeared to be down for damage. So very early to the halfway point. Dylan, what's the strategy? Is it one-stop race? Is it two-stop? I mean, I know that you've already been down, and we're starting to see more cars trickle in, but it doesn't seem like everybody agrees on when that number is.
If we get another yellow that shakes things up. I went in at lap 40, so if it goes green the entire time, I'm happy going for a two-stop strategy. I'd rather use the tires aggressively than not at all, to be honest with you. And it's actually nice to go by Matt Danson at full speed. Oh, but I have a friend about to catch up to me. Oh, boy.
We'll leave you to that.
Okay.
And make sure both hands are on the wheel. So we'll see. I mean, these are always critical points when you talk about how a point situation can swing, Jonathan. The fact that, if Danson and Friedange end up off cycle by the timing of a yellow, that could be a big factor. I mean, those are all, very important things to monitor. And Friedange has only continued to make passes up to position number 5, only a second behind Kyle Trudell. So I still think 5 seconds is far enough back that he can't just win this race. I don't think he's 5 seconds faster than Matt Danson. But he's definitely not 5 seconds slower, right? That difference comes by all the traffic that he had to deal with Well, Danson's been in clean air all night. So if Freenage can try a different strategy, if he wants to go that route, if he wants to go all the way to the fuel's limit to maybe try to catch a yellow, I mean, he has options. There's no crystal ball he can look into to tell him which one gives him the best chance at the championship, but he has options on what he can do.
Yeah, and I'm assuming he wants to stay out and lead a lap, and that's what he wanted to do 2 weeks ago, but that was denied by Matt Danson, who also wanted to stay out and lead a ridiculous amount of laps. So he has options at the moment, but what options do you take if you're the 88? And he knows just as well as anyone this race can be won and lost on pit road. We saw what happened at Montreal. There was a bit of a penalty. We don't know if it was speeding. We don't know if it was a pit exit issue, but there was some sort of penalty given to the 88 car, and it took him out of that race completely. So Danson's not at the thick of the woods yet. We still have to get through pit cycles, and thankfully I don't think anyone has had a penalty and had to come back down. But it's always looming large, and plus, also, not to mention these guys flying by him. We have half the field that's pitted and half the field that hasn't. It's going to kind of create a lot of track hazards right now.
Yeah, the lap traffic is enough of, I don't want to say nuisance, but enough of a hazard as is normally. Dane Cruz is down pit road. I know Dominic Howell also just now recently down to pit road, but it's amplified when the leader is dealing with lapped cars that are slow and also lapped cars that are faster because they've already been down pit road and gotten service. Just waiting to see who's going to be that first driver from up front, and it is going to be the race leader. There is a huge pack right here into turn number 3, but Matt Danson is on pit road. That's the big story. Danson in at lap number 59, and he brings everybody else down pit road with him.
I want to know how they orchestrated that. They were going 3 wide into turn 3, and all of them came down pit road. Not a scratch.
2 drivers stay out. Sam Nieto still on track. He'll go to the race lead. I'm sure that is much to the ire of Andrew Farinaj, who would have scored a bonus point if Nieto had stayed or gone in. Nieto to pit road. Andrew Farinaj also to pit road. So no bonus point for the 88. He has to come in at lap 60.
Yeah, they're reaching right to the limit on fuel, I think, and I don't know if that might have been a little bit of a rude play by Nieto. I don't know if Freenage is going to look so kindly on that one later on, but Nieto also is in his own little points battle. He lost 4 places last week at Talladega due to an internet issue, so again, this is a guy that needs to make up space. It looks like the 05 is going to cycle back out to the lead for the moment. It's just Ross Cato and Kyle Kamer that have yet to come down pit road.
And the call, no shock, is the 4 tires and fuel. If 60 is the max, they could probably go close to 120. I mean, they could probably go further on this opening run than they could go on the next run, because, again, we had about 6 laps of yellow right off at the start of this race. They used very little fuel at the beginning of this one, and then you can see Cato is down pit road in his fast-forward esports entry. But I don't think, if this is the number, that they can make it on a one-stopper, and that means you could see a lot of very late splash and goes, a lot of drivers saving. I'm just surprised that Freenage and Danson, with a lap of difference between them, pretty much on the same strategy. Danson in at 59 and Freenage in at 60. They were waiting on 2 more cars to come down pit road. That was Kyle Kamer and Ross Cato. They are both down to pit road this time by, which means Danson will cycle back to the race leader. And in about 10 laps or so, he will secure an additional bonus point for the most laps led. That'll put his advantage over Freenage to 9. And it seems like that window of opportunity now starting to close for the 88 team.
Yeah, just a perfect pit cycle from that 05. But can you save 4 laps of fuel at 6 miles? You have to try and save to get to the end. And I think, I mean, if you're Andrew Freenage, do you do it? Do you try it?
I would have suspected. I mean, if they know it's going to be close, you think that the leader or the guy with the advantage in points gets the preferred call, right? He's not going to be like, oh, I'll go and take the alternate strategy for you. So if I was Freenage, granted, Freenage is a million times the race car driver I'll ever be, so it's funny me pointing this stuff out, right? But at least strategy-wise, I would have gone on the strategy that Dylan's on, or some of the other drivers who pitted earlier, just to mix it up. Because 5th is great, 4th is great, so is 3rd, so is 2nd, so is 1st. But you're in the point now where He's got 2 bonus points. If he gets that second one, you can only get 1. You're going to be working with at best an 8-point difference. Well, the difference between first and second is only 5 points. The Ferdinand needs to win this race and have Danson finish 3rd or 4th or worse, because Danson has the tiebreaker for more top 5s in between them. I'm sure these are all scenarios that Ferdinand has gone through in his head, and he says it every week when we talk to him, mostly in Victory Lane, how much practice he puts in. So I have no doubt that this strategy has been scheduled out and planned, and the math has been run on it. But I just feel like you have to try something different, because they're right back where they were. Danson leading Ferdinand by 5 seconds, and this time Ferdinand falls to 6th when he was 5th before the pit cycle.
Well, something I want to point out, and I wish we had like the telestrator so I can circle it. Look at where that 77 car is right now. He pitted 10 laps earlier and did a whale of a job coming in pit road, almost spun due to contact, and 10 laps gave him all the way up to P3. Like, Liam Sheen was down in P16, and he's up 14 places on that pit cycle. So now when you think about this second half of the race, now when you come in, now seeing and knowing that 77 erased a huge gap, do you come in early or do you try and milk it to the end? The idiot has to take both those options. He can't do what Danson does. He has to do whatever he doesn't do.
As someone who's on a similar strategy, the fall off is immense. I mean, Danson is right behind me now, and he's going to get by. Look at that speed that he gets around me. And I've got the wheel turned 45 degrees, most I want it, at maybe 157, something like that. He's traveling around 10 plus miles per hour faster than me. The difference is astonishing right now. So in my eyes, is Agnell Phillips going to go by me? In my eyes, my goal is going to be just survive until lap 80, and then that's when I'll go in. I don't know if this thing will stay green the entire way through, especially near the end, but, I mean, there's no reason to bet money that it will go to a yellow flag at some point.
I don't know, maybe the 77 is still angry at the 81. You don't know.
There's always somebody who has an issue with somebody else. The last time this series saw an intermediate race was on January the 6th of last year. It was round 6, and it was from the Chicagoland Speedway. That race was won by Andrew Ferdinand, and it was very, very different than what we saw tonight. That race had 5 different lead changes, 4 different leaders, 8 cautions for 30 laps. I mean, it was a bit of a crazy and chaotic race. Tonight, not that case. Danson, again, with the exception of that brief moment when he came down pit road, has had this race on lock. It has been clean for the most part. We mentioned the likes of Price was in the grass at one point. Of course, we had the spin that involved Michael Kaczynski right off at the start of this race, but with only 1 yellow, it has been clean. I mean, drivers, there's some close moments. We've seen 2 wide, 3 wide, some lapped cars getting into the fence. I mean, it hasn't been perfect, but the respect level is at the point where I would want it to be when we're talking about a championship being on the line.
I think, again, and I mentioned this earlier, there's other points battles, and there's other kind of fights in this field. You know, Braxton DeWeese is trying to get, like, kind of the best of the rest, get in the top 5 in points. He's having a good night so far. Eberhardt's coming out here kind of with something to prove. Didn't qualify, and well, he's in the top 10. Shameless is trying to prove something. Our winner last week, Jeremy Miller, and they're all in this huge fight for 7th and 6th place, and that's only going to get more complicated when they come up to the slower car of Liam Sheen.
In this battle, we were following it before the pit stops, and it is still ongoing. They just do not want to get away from one another, and you're right. Sheen is coming back to them. Also, at the same time, Ferdinand is catching Trudell and is there. So there's 2 battles right now. The battle for 5th on up, and then the battle that's going to be for 6th on back once this group drops and is able to catch up to the dropping Liam Sheen, I should say. But Ferdinand trying to go on the bottom of Sheen. This was a difference at one point that was about 2 seconds between them at pit stops. Remember when Ferdinand was 5 seconds off for the race leader? It's only 4.1. Is he improving? Yes. That has never been the argument against. The question is it ever going to be enough when he's already playing from the back foot to the bottom of Trudell? He just needs to get a nose to the quarter panel, and now he's there. In 1 and 2, Trudell's going to have the advantage of the speed off of the corner. Ferdinand looks like it hooks up better. He will keep him with a little bit of space. I thought he was going to pull up and put the slide job on him. He holds, he waits, in 3 and 4, the spot is his. Ferdinand now at a race-high P4.
Oh, be careful, Trudell. There's some marbles up there. You don't want to get into those, but now he's going to go catch Sam Nieto, because Nieto's also falling into the clutches of the 88 machine, but I don't know if he has enough speed to go catch Agnell Phillip and Matt Danson, and, you know, kudos to Agnell Phillip. He's hanging in there with Matt Danson. It's been under second for quite some time now. Just has not had the speed to get around him.
And now next to the 40 to Winemaster, that's a lapped car, not for position. Jaron is 1 lap down in 24th spot. Another driver who's going to be back full-time in the Cup Series for 2021. And I think Ferdinand gets Nieto. Just based on the speed, I think he gets him. I think that's the natural conclusion to things. The question marks are there on up, because if you can pass Nieto, it's at least 2 seconds of a difference up to Agnell Phillip in second. That's a whole other second from there to Danson. So we may be looking at a P3 best case scenario for the 88 of Ferdinand as they run at the moment. But you're looking off at the back of the ghetto, and you can see that all-white 88 Chevrolet closing the difference. Bit of radio communication there from Danson, just making sure he's coordinating with the lapped cars on where they're going, because it appears like he's in the driver's seat right now. And the one thing you would hate to take this out or take it away from you is if you drive into a lapped car, or a lapped car drives into you because you guys weren't sure what the plan was.
Yeah, now he's hitting a little faster lap traffic too. He's getting up into the teens, as it were, with like John Ellenberg, Dominic Howe, and Ross Cato are the next ones on his list. And yeah, you just need to coordinate that well. But and again, we also need to point out too, there's 2 different strategies still. There's still that group of 10 or so cars that, you know, our Dylan is in as well, that are doing that 2-stop, that are going to come in the next 4 or 5 laps, and they're going to be wicked fast, while these guys are going to be starting to fall off. So that could cause a little bit of mayhem and chaos. Like, there's still options, and there's still a chance, I think, for Ferdinand. He's trying to put himself in the best position possible, in trying with all his might.
I mentioned that it was about 10 laps away. It's a bit more than that. So Matt Danson now has officially secured the 2 bonus points available from this race. That puts the difference between those two to a difference of 9. And based on where they run on track at the moment, I think the current live points difference, probably about 16 points between the 2 of them. That is a lot bigger of a live points update than I think it actually is, in terms of, just 16 sounds bigger than what it actually reflects. Once upon a time, just a year ago, when Andrew Ferdinand won his 2nd consecutive RSR Icebreaker Winter Series championship, he won it by 147 points over Kyle Kamer. You look even further back, though, when he started this streak back in the 2017-18 campaign, he won it by just 2 over Jeff Ward. So he's won it by a lot, he's won it by a little, still in it late at Vegas. 45 laps to go for Danson this time by. More battling going on besides what's just up front. We talk about Liam Sheen dropping back. Well, that whole group of cars has gone him, right? Trudell, Eberhardt, Chambliss, DeWeese, they've passed him. Now David Washington has done the same. Michael Araya about to be the next one. So Liam Sheen, again, was a planned pit stop, certainly locked into the 2-stopper strategy. So we're right at about lap number 80. Those cars who pitted closer to lap 40 going to be down very soon, because this is basically the 2/3 point in the race. Why not? Let's go 3 wide in the run to turn number 1 for 10th.
Yeah, I guess Michael Araya seems to be in a bit of a hurry. I don't know if he's got some casino money waiting on the table, if he really wants to go play some blackjack later, but did not want to wait to get around the lap car of Sean Kalis, and now is going to try and dispatch of Liam Sheen quickly. But, even though that 77's going backwards, I mean, it kind of worked. He got all the way up to second on that strategy, and if we're thinking at the end of this race, Evan, that everyone's going to be short and they're going to have to come back down, the 77 may still be a huge factor because he's going to be coming on those fresh tires. He's going to have 20 laps basically to rip off quick lap times, while these guys have to think of when to come down and splash.
And will some try to save to maybe get to the end? I mean, you talked about it. Could they save those 3 laps, those 4 laps that equates to about 6 miles? Is that possible? We knew Sheen wasn't going to be able to do it. He's been solely committed to the 2-stopper, and he is in a little bit sideways as he locks up the tires and smokes them a little bit on his way down pit road. But he is in at lap number 83, so that's going to be his final bit of service. I know that Steve Durham also just now off of pit road, and Dylan, you got your pit stop at about a dozen or so laps ago, so you're good to the end now.
Yeah, I'm good to the end on fuel. I got my stop, I believe, at lap 75, so 50 laps on a set of tires. They did it the first run, so should be able to do it now. I kind of wanted to put myself in a position where if I wanted to, not saying that I would because it would not be a strategy for a green flag run. If I wanted to, and the yellow came out, I would still be able to potentially have another set of tires to get. But you know what? I'm not expecting anything from this race. I'm hoping a top 20. Not sure if that's possible, but I'm happy with the strategy that I'm on. Seems like for Sheen it might be a potentially winning call, so fingers crossed for him.
He's back on track, and he finds himself a lap down. Where is he compared to Danson? Because, again, he's going to have the advantage now to the end. Danson's not going to pick up anything, so let's see how high Sheen gets in the running order. That was Miller, I believe, on board with down pit road in his Valvoline machine. Bobby Krug also in and out for service. So these are all the cars that can't try to stretch. I mean, everybody here knows that they're not getting anywhere close to that lap 125 mark, or at least for the cars up front. Everybody about 13th on up is trying to stretch. You got guys like Mara, who's been out there for 33 laps. I know he's gonna have to come and pit. Stephen Price in the same boat. The likes of Nick Mara, Tom Morano, Jaron Weinmaster, and Sean Kalis. Those are the drivers who are going to have to come down and pit for certain. It's likely they all have to. It's likely a dozen of them could run out of fuel, right? I mean, it's the last race of the year, Jonathan. If you might get it down to a lap or less than a lap of a difference, someone we know is gonna run it dry. I mean, what do you got to lose, right? Aside from your championship too, a lot of these guys here for the win or the record.
Yeah, sometimes you gotta roll the dice, as they say here in Las Vegas. I'm sorry, I had to do it once, Evan. I had to do it once. We haven't done it yet. It's been 89 laps. We've got to get a roll the dice.
Bingo card. The race can now be considered official. At Vegas, it's a known fact that it's not actually the halfway point in the race that makes it official. It's the roll of the dice gambling reference. So race is official should the snow come down, because it's been a snowy afternoon, believe it or not, here in Las Vegas, Nevada. It was snowing outside my window. Luckily, the in-sim temperature is 68 degrees Fahrenheit. That's about 25 degrees warmer than it actually is.
Wow. Well, we love that.
I know that a lot of guys on social media were joking that they were hoping tonight's race wasn't snowed out or anything. So happy we could get the virtual snow plows down and get it going.
I saw one.
There was some Facebook group chatter as well and Discord, but it's
okay, fair. I'm not part of the Discord. What?
It's not an RSR one. Stephen Price is down pit road. Matt Mara is down pit road, who we're watching now, and that battle for 8th is kind of the gift that keeps on giving. Chambliss, Washington, DeWeese, Lariah. I don't think either of these drivers have had a point in this race where they were more than a second ahead or behind of the next closest car, but even they are deciding to come down pit road. Yeah, Daniel Eberhardt, he pitted same lap as Nieto, as Farinaj, and he feels like he can't make it. He is coming down pit road. That should be the biggest indication to all of these guys, to us at least, that nobody is going to be able to make this thing on the one stop.
Here we go.
No yellow. We're good for the moment. There's a lot of cars in and out of pit road. Bobby Krug is the driver around, as you mentioned, and Andrew Farinaj, big development, is down pit road. So Farinaj, I think, accepting he can't make the distance. He is down pit road for service. Is Matt Danson going to respond, or does Danson stick with his guns?
Well, he's going to be in first nonetheless if he's one of the only if he's the only one that stays out. I mean, he's got all of the cards.
And he is in, which is the decision that I would have made, because don't risk it, right? If you stay out and you get a yellow, Farinaj might end up with a pit stop after you, or vice versa. If you pit later, you could be stuck behind. I mean, in Farinaj's case, he has to go against what Danson does, but the problem is, Jonathan, if Farinaj makes the move first, Danson can just do exactly what Farinaj is, and therefore negates his opportunity to go off strategy.
I think the scarier part, at least for Danson, was the fact that everyone else in the top 5 came down too, and if he stayed out any longer, I mean, you saw how fast that 77, even with contact coming into the pit road, got up into the top 10 on fresh rubber. Like Danson actually might lose the lead here. I'm actually thinking Agnell Phillip might pip him for the lead.
He was within a second.
Farinaj might go by.
Yeah, I mean, Phillip was there. Even, take Farinaj out of the conversation. Danson's win has not been secured. It's been, 9/8 of a second to Agnell Phillip, and Agnell Phillip undercut him. So as they run now, Danson is behind both Phillip and Farinaj. How long will that last, though? You can see Farinaj rolling off of turn number 4. I'm just looking. Agnell Phillip is already at the start-finish line, so he's kind of the de facto leader of this group of cars that has pitted. And then Matt Danson, across the start-finish line, is about half of a corner behind Farinaj. So at the moment, Farinaj actually ahead, as we see DeWeese now pit from the top 5.
Yeah, you get a ton of time, guys. Every single lap you have. I mean, if Danson was out for 2 laps compared to his main competitors, then he would have been, for sure, coming out behind. That is how quick these new tires really mean, or how fast they are, and what they really mean to everybody here. I mean, look below me right now. I'm on 20-lap-old tires. Oh, I didn't touch him. There's something.
And a caution at lap number 95. Jaron Weinmaster has spun off of turn number 4. Weinmaster got loose and spun on his own. Let's take a second look. There's contact down the back. That's separate. Watch this. Weinmaster to the inside of Dylan Coyle. He's got a bit of damage, and that is on his own. Brakes sideways. Spins. He will claim responsibility, and now we have a yellow late in this race with Farinaj ahead of Danson in the running order.
Farinaj is on the lead lap. Farinaj
and Danson is not at the moment. It is currently showing, based on where they were in relation to the race leader at the time of caution, I am currently showing that Andrew Farinaj is the last car on the lead lap, and Matt Danson is not.
I want to go back and see the exact timing, because we were watching Farinaj pass the 7 as that yellow came out. It had to be a splitter, maybe was in front.
So this is big. Danson should get the wave around, but Farinaj can come down and get service, because I believe he's only pitted twice. Danson's going to go around now. He's now going to probably... Danson's got the wave, so Danson's probably going to come and get tires too. But Farinaj, if he also decides to pit, will not be at the disadvantage of that lap or 2 difference. Or does Farinaj opt not to take tires now and save them for later? So that is a big bullet dodged by Danson, because he is waved around at as the lucky dog. If that was a one-spot difference, Danson would be trapped a lap down. Freenage would have been one of about a dozen cars on the lead lap. So Danson gets very lucky, all things considered. It could have been a lot worse, but the timing of this yellow is not good at all for the 05.
No, that...
Late drama. We've been saying it all night. Nothing is guaranteed. It could happen at any moment. And now we're going to be racing inside of 25 laps to go, but this championship window wide open. Here it is with Freenage on the bottom, the race leader of Trudell up on the outside, just passing him. You can see Danson, that gold and black car behind. At the moment of yellow there, there it is. Freenage just ahead of the 7. That's the difference maker. Just think how big that could have been if, say, Nieto was ahead of Danson, and Danson was actually stuck the lap down. So this race has been flipped on its head in the second half.
And correct me if I'm wrong, I believe Wave Around and Lucky Dog in these rules still go to the end of the line. So there's going to be some lap cars, I think, in front of them, correct?
It'll depend. Let's see how many drivers stay out to get a wave round. It looks like that number is going to be pretty high. I think everybody from Sam Nieto in 8th, and this number is going to continue to rack up all the way through maybe Stephen Price in 19th are going to be those wave around cars.
All right, well, it looks like a lot of the lap cars came down pit road, so that's not going to be too much of a trouble. The problem now is you have a bit of a group of different characters in the top 5. You have Lashinsky, Shameless, and Kato. Shameless has been hanging around there, but Lashinsky and Kato have been further down the order. We know that 94 is fast. Kyle Chiarello's been in the top 5 as well, so this is not easy.
We're not even talking about a different group of characters. We're talking about who has fresh tires, who doesn't. I mean, I'm a group of lapped cars who went in right now to get some tires. I know that there are some drivers who went 20 laps ago who are going to be on the same set. There's some who went 10 laps ago. This is going to be an incredible finish. I don't know if Danson's going to be able to do it. I don't know.
I'm surprised that Freenage didn't get tires. And again, there could be yellow in 5 laps, and then maybe that's when you want it, right?
I think it's going to be more aggression-based now. Yeah,
I mean, I think they both have a set of tires because we had 3 additional sets, and I believe they both had made their 2 pit stops. So there should be a set left. Lights are out on top of the pace car. Wave buyers are going around. This is a whole new ball game in terms of the championship being on the line. Agnel Phillip decides to take the outside of the front row for the restart. So Andrew Freenage at a race-high P2 has a big opportunity to get 1 point lost against Danson back. It was a 7-point difference into tonight. If you don't count the points based on where they run, it is 9 because Danson has already led a lap and led the most laps for 2 bonus points. So if Freenage can get 1 here, that would be a big step. I'm just looking, Danson's 7th in the running order, but he's going to be far further down than 7th in the running order. It's not a huge difference because, again, a lot of those lapped cars had pitted, but Danson does have traffic to work with. Freenage outrunning him on track. If Danson can't improve on 7th and Andrew Freenage wins this race, Andrew Freenage is the champion. Wow. That is enough positions in between them. If Freenage can get 1 more and Danson can't get better than 4th or 5th, and again, Danson has the benefit of the tiebreak, but this championship on a razor's edge with 24 laps to go from LVMS. Pace car down and in this time. Agnel Phillip, though, looking to close out this IWRAPS Winter Series with a trip to victory lane. It's his field to control on the outside, and we're back underway. Two by two for this restart. Very different than how things raced, of course, on that single file start at the top. But here is Freenage for the race lead. To the inside on Agnel Phillip in 3 and 4. It looked real good into the corner, but he doesn't have the speed off. Phillip hangs on for the moment. Freenage not going to let him go.
I think the 94 is not going to let him go either. He's been fighting with that 05 of Matt Danson all night, and he's certainly not going to let another championship contender go on by. But another thing that's nice for Danson is at least Freenage and Danson have the same kind of age and tires as Phillip. Oh, that was That was a door slam and a half.
That goes to the question of how hard do you race the drivers in this championship battle, and Agnell Phillips' answer is the same. I race everybody else. Danson still in 7th. Ferdinand still 2nd. That is not enough of a difference, but one more spot for Ferdinand means 5 more points in the standings. That would be enough to win him this IWRAPS Winter Series Championship. A lot of slicing and dicing back of the pack. There's no guarantee that this race stays green. With 21 laps to go this time by, you're on board with Danson. He is still dealing with lap traffic. He's a second behind and a caution at lap 105. Will slow us down. It is a huge mess in 4, and Jeremy Miller's the one who I saw in the middle of the track.
I think it was the 81 of Shane Parrish, and up and over he goes. That was a heavy hit.
I like my finale served with a slice of drama.
3 wide, Lariah on the bottom. They touch, Miller loose, up and into the outside. Takes out the number 81 machine at that point. That's the heaviest damage to Shane Parrish out of anybody else. And then the innocent victim, the number 23 machine, Matthew Barra on the bottom. 3rd, caution. We slow things down. And I don't know if... I think this hurts Farinaj, right? Because Danson still had about a second until he got up to the next points paying position to get to Ross Cato. Now that it's a yellow where he doesn't have to deal with a wave around, those left cars aren't going to be in the way anymore. So he will be right behind Cato. Now, it could also serve as a second opportunity for Andrew Farinaj to get a shot at Agnell Phillip, because Agnell Phillip had cleared him, had it opened up about a car length of an advantage. That's not huge, but it is significant. So I don't know who this really benefits, but I'll take 2 slices of late race drama.
Oh, are we going to have...
Oh, this is interesting.
I think this was the smart idea.
Farinaj to pit road.
Oh, what in the
Danson's
world?
also down pit road. So your 2 championship contenders on pit road. That means they are both going to have to deal with lots of traffic. The number unsure. Trudell, Chambliss, Leschinski, Cato stay out. It may just be those 4, which means it won't be a ton of traffic. But now you have to execute. Does somebody go for 2? Farinaj has the left sides up. His decision is going to be for 4 tires and fuel. He's already off pit road. Matt Danson's got the number 1 pit stall, but he wants to use up all of his available tires. He will also go for 4 tires. Phillip first off of pit road. Farinaj off of pit road second, and Danson will come off directly behind Farinaj. 3rd off of pit road and 7th in the running order. They were once separated by 5 positions. Now it's 1.
I mean, I don't blame those 4 for staying out though, because they just pitted under that last caution and they got what?
They're only 8
2 or
laps
3
old
green flag
tires.
laps?
Yeah, so not even 8. Yeah, you're right. More like 2 or 3.
The difference is huge though in 5 laps time.
In 5, we were green for 2 laps. Like and Trudell and Chambliss have pace. The 7 and the 25 have been in the top 5, and I think Trudell was holding up Freenage on that long green flag run, so I don't, like...
There's no telling what's going to happen at the end of this race.
I think Trudell's sitting in a good spot, but he's going to have some angry championship contenders right behind him.
Well, Lord knows,
I wouldn't want to see him get hit in my rearview mirror.
Yeah, all we needed was another late race restart with some slower cars in front of the championship guys alongside each other fighting for that. I'm just trying to do the math in my head to try to, get us as close to an exact number as we can get, right, in terms of, where is that cut? If Farinaj were to win this race, he would have to make up 9 points on the next closest car. That difference would mean that he would need to finish, if they were with a bonus point, because he would lead a lap, he needs to get 8. So if Danson finished 5th, he would score 32 race points. Farinaj would score 40. That's your 8-point difference. But then keep in mind, Farinaj would get 1. Danson has 2. So I think the cut is P6. Farinaj would need to win. Danson would need to finish 6th or worst. It was a very real possibility when Farinaj was 1 spot away for the race lead and Danson was stuck in 7th. So ultimately, I think this yellow is going to hurt Farinaj. Although, these guys have been, for the most part, in clean air all night, right? Danson certainly has, and Ferdinand just spent most of his night inside of the top 10 to the point to when he got up there, it was spread out. They are going to have a lot of traffic. The guys on their door, Agno Phillip has already showed us, are not going to just back off and make it easy for them. My biggest concern is my car making it to the end of this race.
Yeah. Same here.
Yeah. Yeah, because you have Agno Phillip, who's been fast and has shown that I'm not going to give, and then you have a little bit of a dark horse, and the 90 machine of Eberhard has climbed all the way up from the depths of hell, basically, from that 90 machine towards the rear of the grid. And then kind of another two dark horses. There's Liam Machine and Sam Nieto, both on fresh tires. But and Trudell and Shameless have been fast. And all three of these team cars, the Extreme Motorsports guys, decided, to stay out, try and get a good team result here.
I'd get a point for leading a lap, even though it's under yellow. Still cashes out just as well.
Yeah, and I think I really feel like this is a good spot for Trudell. It's just I don't know how aggressive everyone's going to be. It's going to be letting a bunch of bulls out for a stampede when the space car comes down.
Well, let's see if this is our final attempt. It'll be a restart with 16 laps to go. Kyle Trudell is leading this race. Your top four did not pit. That's Trudell and Chambliss on the front row, Leszczynski and Cato on row 2. Everybody from Agno Phillip on back with fresh tires. It includes your championship hopeful Andrew Ferdinand in 6th and your championship leader Matt Danson in 7th. Don't count out Daniel Eberhard 8th, Liam Sheen 9th, all on the same pit strategy to try to fight for the race win in this IWRAPS 125. Green flag flies. We're underway, and it's a great start for those Extreme Performance Motorsports Toyotas on the bottom. They will rocket to 1-2. Chambliss falls to 3rd. Here's the battle behind in traffic. Ferdinand in the middle. Danson on the bottom.
Oh no, Agno Phillip! No, save it! Ooh, he lost the arrow when the 25 came down. I don't know if he saved it. He did.
No caution. We stay green. Agno Phillip with a great piece of driving. He was maybe an inch off of Andrew Ferdinand, who was trying to make a pass at him at the time. Not involved. Phillip out of the battle for the race win. So Ferdinand up to 4th, but for how long? Ross Cato trying to be a spoiler. He's looking to the outside. Meanwhile, those cars at old tires holding strong for the moment. Now here comes Daniel Eberhard behind the 88.
The 90 machine all of a sudden is flying, and he's going to duck to the inside of Freenage as well. I told him to watch out for him.
And Ferdinand needs these guys to be fast enough to hold off Danson, but not fast enough to pass him. You've got hungry, drivers like Nieto, like Washington onto the scene. I already shouted out Liam Sheen. How about, Braxton DeWeese there as well, all with things to prove. Ferdinand inching closer down to the battle up front as the fight is on for 2nd. Chambliss trying to get 2nd back from Leszczynski. He'll do it on the outside.
How aggressive do you be if you're the 88? Your laps are winding down, and these two are fighting. He's going to look to the inside. There's nothing there yet, but how desperate do you get? And how desperate do you get if you're Daniel Eberhard? Because you're in the middle of 2 championship contenders right now.
They are in the middle of all of it. That is Ferdinand on the bottom. Danson passing Nieto for position. That was temporarily the other way around in a side-by-side run to the line last time. So Danson back up to position number 6. And now Ferdinand seemingly with a better place to go on the bottom. They are door banging with the 88 car. The fight for 3rd. Ferdinand gets the spot from Leszczynski. Eberhard going to follow through on the bottom. It's going to be awfully close if they can reel in Kyle Trudell in time. Ferdinand now sets his sights on the 25. Danson gets chopped off as Leszczynski came across the nose.
And I would be too. Because the 03 just door banged the 88 and cut off the 05. You're not making many friends out there right now, Leszczynski.
If you cause an incident, if Danson's in an incident, if Ferdinand are in an incident, it is over. You need to race hard, but you need things to stay clean and green. It looks like Danson will win out in that battle with Leszczynski on the outside. How about a shove from Daniel Eberhard as he pushes Ferdinand off and into turn number 1. So now side by side with Chambliss in a battle for 2nd spot. But Chambliss won't go quietly into the night. Does Eberhard go for the pass? No. Again, pushing the 88.
You can see the tire grip is starting to wear out a little bit. The 88 drifted up a little bit into the 25. Chambliss is having to lift, and I think Freenage might get him here if he goes to the inside of the apron, and he does. Now where does Eberhardt go? Where does Danson go? It's basically these three are in a train hunting down now Kyle Trudell.
And the longer they stay side by side for second, the further Trudell can pull away. Finally, Chambliss's challenge falls to the wayside. Freenage goes to second. It appears like Eberhardt not trying to put a move on the 88. He's basically a pick in between Freenage and Danson, the next spot down the road. This time by 9 laps to go from Vegas. The advantage for Trudell, 4/10 of a second.
And there was a big little checkup there from Eberhardt. He got too close to the 88. The 05 had to back out of it. And now it's just a mad scramble all behind Matt Danson. David Washington's gotten around Sheen. And Danson just needs to clear the 25 and let everyone else fight behind them.
It is so close. In the live championship standings, Danson clears Chambliss P4. That should be enough to possibly secure him his position if he can score the 33 race points. That may be the difference maker by 1 at the end of this race. Andrew Freenage needs 1 more spot. He closed the gap. He was the fastest car on track the last time by. Still trying to get a little bit extra at the pace he's going. Coming to 7 to go next time by. Freenage with a real opportunity to win this race.
Although, what do you do if you're Trudell? What do you do? He's got 2 top 5s. He's got 4 top 10s. I don't recall his last win. He's gonna play aggressive. There's 6 laps to go.
You go for the win. You go for the win.
I'm just so curious how Eberhardt's going to factor into this. Of course, Eberhardt and Freenage, longtime competitors. There's been so many times where Eberhardt has played second fiddle to Freenage, and he wants to beat him. Don't take this little bit of help as he's pushed him a couple of times as a peace offering that's going to go all year. Eberhardt wants to beat Freenage for a Cup Series championship starting next week, but at the moment, I think right now he's trying to help out his longtime friend. He has not tried to pass the 88. He has tried to give him a push when necessary, and here we go. Freenage to the bottom. Eberhardt going to give him a touch, side by side for the race lead, and a new race leader. At lap 120, it is Andrew Freenage leading the championship race.
Although I think the worst case scenario for Freenage is Eberhardt slowing up Kyle Trudell and putting him right into the clutches of Matt Danson. The 05 is right there in that 7 car. I don't know if he can hold off that 05 for a whole lap.
If I was Eberhardt, I probably would have stayed behind the 7 and helped him out and played block for the 05 machine. You can't technically, though, slow down and try to hold other people up. A little bit of gamesmanship and racecraft is always allowed, but there is a line, and so far they've walked it perfectly. Danson now has joined the battle. First, third, and fourth position. That's a block from the 90 machine, but again, even with Freenage leading, I think Danson's good by a single point, but here's the concern. Here comes Sam Nieto in 5th. That's who the 05 is worried about.
I'm worried about all 3 of these guys. And Danson went all the way to the inside of the grass, is now going to go 3 wide. That's a ballsy move. Eberhardt's not giving any space. Do not touch. Please don't touch, you two.
Well, they both get the 7, so Trudell falls to the wayside. That's another point in favor to Danson. The question is it going to be for second? Is it going to be for third? That time, 3 laps to go from Vegas. Eberhardt still hanging on. He will clear for second. Danson now tucks in line third.
I think the problem for Danson is that threat is still looming large, because now here comes Sam Nieto, who's just as quick as the 05. And if there's a mistake from the 05, Kyle Trudell's still there. The Trudell is a little slower on pace, but that doesn't mean the 05 is out of it.
Right now, I believe it is a Matt Danson advantage by 2 bonus points in the standings. It'll go down to a post-race tabulation, nothing official, with a razor-thin margin. A spot one way, a spot the other way could still change this for Danson. But how about Freenage? For so long tonight was coming from behind, found himself on the outside looking in, but always had speed. Was just trying to overcome that poor Q effort. He's going to be 1 lap away from the race win.
Ooh, oh, you're not making friends, Eberhardt, are you? These two are fighting ridiculously hard for P2.
Here comes Nieto, don't look now, trying to get onto the bottom in the battle for third with a huge single championship point on the line. They stay clear. Danson, one more look to the inside on Eberhardt. Do they stay clean? They will. Andrew Farinaj in front, gonna take the win and win the finale at Vegas. But it is the P3 for Matt Danson that will unofficially crown him the 2021 RealSimRacing IWRAPS Winter Series champion, snapping a 2-season streak held by Farinaj.
That was a hell of a drive that Danson had to put up in that last stint just to get to third place, because no one made it easy, especially Daniel Eberhardt, not making it easy on either of them.
And in the end, Farinaj does almost all he could do, and that was win the race and walk away with nearly maximum points, as he'll cash out with 41 at the end of the evening. But he drives past the start-finish line and leaves it to the 05 of Matt Danson, a car cladded in gold for good reason. The burnouts on the front straightaway. The rookie has done it, the first driver to take a championship for Andrew Farinaj in 3 years of RSR competition. Danson has finally done it, and a worthwhile celebration after one of the greatest championship fights between two drivers I think I've ever seen.
Farinaj doing the Polish victory lap on the outside. It was just a good, hard fight between these two. They were always at the front of the race. They raced each other respectfully, and we heard it every time they gave interviews. They respected one another. They really ran hard, and I couldn't have think of a better ending. Farinaj did all he could. Danson had to really fight for it still. It was a good showing from both these drivers.
We will, of course, wait for the tabulation to be official, and I'll get that for us in just one moment with the unofficial points results to make the difference. But I just want to plug it in to make sure we're in the right spot in terms of crowning this champion. And again, it's been such a great battle. Here's a look at your full race results. Again, Farinaj in the end does what it needed to do, right? Matches Danson's tally of 3 race wins this year. But I think that P3 is enough. How about Daniel Eberhardt, right? Sam Nieto, Kyle Trudell. I mean, all of those guys, Jonathan, a tip of the hat to them to be so aggressive in that fight for the win, but to, in the end, keep it clean amongst each other.
I don't even know who I want to give like the underdog to, because I don't even know. Like, there's a couple drivers, like Liam Sheen, a top 10 finish in 8th place. What a drive! What an up and down day he had. Braxton DeWeese, a good finish in 9th. Michael Laraya, a good finish in 10th. And it was hard racing just for those top 10 spots, and it really was a good showing, I think, from everyone in this field. Even if we weren't showing it on camera, but it was really good racing.
Yeah, through Laraya and Deweese, as you mentioned, and the rest of the field here, this race ends up with 18 cars on the lead lap. So, you know, Agnew Phillip, Kyle Kamer, John Ellenberg, Dominic Howe, and Gary Weaver in the top 15. Ross Cato, Brian Chainless, Matt Mara on the lead lap, and everybody, right? I mean, Tom Morano, Nick Mara through the top 20. Those lap cars became a very important factor when Danson was one of them.
Yeah, they were, like, Howe and Morano were fighting each other hard, and for good reason. They were on trying to fight for that lucky dog position. They knew a caution could come out, and hey, if you're a lap down, that's what you're supposed to do. But I think I gotta really pour one out here for Agnew Phillip. He showed a lot of pace and a lot of great driving today, and I'm sad that it ends in not even a top 10 with that save out of turn 2, because he took the battle of both Farinaj and Danson, and just a really shame that the 94 had to end up outside the top 10.
That's the story for a couple of his weeks, I think, is probably deserved more. Agnew Phillip with a great show. And then everybody else, Kalis, DeBosier, you got Durham, Coyle, Valderrama, Kaczynski, Miller, Price, Parrish, and Winemaster at the very back of the running order. The likes of Tice, Krug, Cruz, Jones, and Stanford, the drivers who round out the running order in this one. We'll take an opportunity to actually, let's just take a look, because I do have the official confirmation, and this is a good testament to my math skills. Officially, Matt Danson has claimed the championship. The final margin of victory is 2 points between he and Andrew Fredinaj. That matches an all-time RealSimRacing IWRAPS Winter Series record. And maybe a passing of the torch, a full circle moment, if you will. That is the same points margin, 2 points that Andrew Fredinaj won his first Winter Series title over Jeff Ward back in 2017, in 2018. Let's talk with your champion for 2021, Matt Danson, your RealSimRacing IWRAPS Winter Series champion, tying an all-time record, a 2-point difference in the final championship standings. Matt, we'll talk about the race in a moment, but first, congratulations.
Thank you. Wow, what a day. That was stressful.
It was up and down, but at least for the first 3 quarters, mostly up, right? You started up front. I think you really helped yourself, proving that you did with those bonus points, evidently, by leading through the opening half of this race and then seemingly being in control. It wasn't that Andrew was slow, just didn't have it in qualifying and was kind of trying to recover from that P13 starting grid all night, and then all of a sudden, we get a caution. You end up behind him by a handful of spots, and I'm sure at that point the heartbeat was going. Just kind of walk us through that whole final quarter of the race and how you were able to kind of fight back from behind.
Yeah, the heartbeat, that's an understatement. I was pretty freaked out, pretty concerned. Yeah, like you said, myself and Agnall was quite quick as well. Sam Nieto was really good. I felt like probably on balance, maybe him and I were probably the 2 fastest, just on that sort of long run pace. But yeah, when that happened, I was a lucky dog, so I had the opportunity to pit if I wanted to. But I think I only had maybe 1 or 2 laps on my tyres at that point, and I sort of thought, it's not worth throwing away a set right now. And then I noticed that Drew hadn't pit on that one as well, so that pretty much like solidified my decision. And that was also the reason why I pit, because originally I was just going to stay out on that second long run, like just basically do what Kyle Trudell did, sort of stay out and see if a caution came out, or take it a bit longer. But when I noticed that Andrew had pit, it would have been dumb of me to go off sequence with him, so I just wanted to make sure I was around there. I was a bit panicked when he got by me, because I must have been slow on the uptake as far as when he did pit, because he obviously got a good jump. But yeah, it was just about sort of I knew that I'd led the most laps, so my target was just to try and get back to P5, and so if it hadn't have had that last yellow, I think I was running 7th, and I was just trying to focus on keeping the tyres alive so that I could hopefully knock off 1 or 2 guys and get that P5 was sort of the target. But yeah, I was worried.
I'm impressed that you were able to keep the math in your head, because it took me about 2-3 whole laps on the broadcast doing the math out loud to try to kind of narrow down that if he were to win this, P5 would be the place to be, because you had the advantage in the tiebreaker with the most top 5s. Just also tell us about the fact that it's not just you and Andrew there battling late, it's the other top guns in this series, right? Sam Nieto, Kyle Trudell, and Daniel Epperhard, who at times were not making it easy on you, but fortunately we were able to enjoy that battle with the things not getting ugly.
Yeah, I had one sort of dicey moment. I think it was a 0-3. Kind of cleared himself along the front stretch, and I was a bit heated. I always drive pretty angry, so I try to put my radio button as far away from like being easily accessible as possible, so I don't do anything that I'll regret. But I was pretty heated at the time, and I know I was like super angry, like. Internalizing my frustrations with Daniel, like basically that entire last run, because I knew that I had speed on him, and I kind of thought he was toying with me for a little while. But I'm sure upon further review that won't be the case, and I was just having that sort of red mist. But yeah, Kyle Trudell, I was excited for him. I thought he was about to get the win. He's someone I've known for a long time. He's a really, really awesome guy. Like I said, Sam Nieto definitely had heaps of speed, so it was sort of a bummer that he got stuck in the same, trouble that I was in. But ultimately, well deserved by Andrew. He made the right calls at the right time and the decisive moves. It would have been nice to have if I had cleared Daniel when I did get to his inside and that, but to have a bit more of a head-to-head with Andrew. But the race for him, he wanted the win, but the championship's obviously what we're here for.
Andrew's never a guy that needs to find extra reasons to be motivated, but you snapped the streak of his two-time defending champions in this series. And is this going to be a preview of things to come as we get to set and embark on a 2021 Cup Series championship that has you and Andrew and all these other big names in it? I mean, and is this just a preview of what we're in store for this year?
I hope so. I guess we'll find out. I'm more confident in the Cup car than this one. Like before the Winter Series, I'd not really driven the B car that much, to be honest with you. So I'm probably more confident in that and more familiar with it. But then again, it's a very different type of racing. A lot more on throttle time, and you've got those kind of crazy races that can happen due to the packs and that sort of thing. So we'll see how it transpires. I noticed there's a few road courses, so that's handy. Hopefully you can get a couple of dubs there. But it'd be nice to really mix it up with Drew and like you said, Daniel, Sam, Kyle, Lariah. I know it was actually surprising because I know that he's like one of the best kept secrets on iRacing. Really, like I was really surprised when I joined the series and just how much speed he's got. I'd never raced with him in official or anything before, so surprising that he wasn't able to sort of make use of long run tonight. I think just dirty air and that sort of thing really, had us all in a bit of a bind. But it's been a pleasure to be a part of the league. To be honest with you, it's an impeccably run championship, and the broadcast obviously is second to none. It's crazy. I was talking to one of my teammates last week, I think it was. No, after Indy. And there's only one other time really that you get Evan Pisoko calling you to the checkered flag for a win. So, this is it's not quite the same as Coke Series, but it's pretty cool to hear you calling the name. So, yeah.
Maybe one day, right? I can at least say, for all the behind-the-scenes stuff, and we talked about this at the top, all our partners, IWRAPS and everybody, but there is no Monday Night Racing, without the drivers on track and without you and Andrew and everybody else, because nobody would want to watch me go out and race for 10 weeks or 30 weeks, so you guys definitely make the show. Matt, we'll let you get out of here one more time. Before we do, and while we have you as the champion, who do you want to thank? Anybody else you want to say hi to?
So thank all the boys at Horizon. I did a couple of laps with Braden Bullos in anticipation of this, just to kind of get ready. And he's a superstar. Been in the Pro Series a bunch of times. Unfortunately, hasn't been to the super top level, but he deserves to be. So he sort of helped bring me up to speed as well. Thanks to him. Shout out to my boys Seth the Merchant and Christian Peterson. We got the dub at the Daytona 24 as well. In the Friday night one, not the Saturday morning, but top split in that. That came down to a white flag pass by Christian for the win, so that was pretty insane. Shout out to you guys again, just for everything, the whole broadcast and everything, and putting on the league. And massive shout out to Andrew for being just an unbelievable driver. I didn't realize until a couple of weeks ago, he's got two separate accounts, both with 8K iRating. He's just that good. So it was insane to be able to go head-to-head with him and come out on top. That's super exciting. So, yeah.
We had a ton of fun watching this, all 10 weeks of this Winter Series, and I'm with you that I hope it's a sign of things to come, because if we get good racing like this for the Cup Series, it's going to be a fun 2021 campaign, Matt. But again, congratulations on the championship. Thank you for being a part of RSR, and we'll catch you next time.
Thanks so much.
That is your 2021 RealSimRacing IWRAPS Winter Series champion, Matt Dancid. The difference, 2 points to Andrew Faridas. Jonathan Andrew Faridas, a three-time winner this year, now winning this season finale. P2 in the points, and you're standing by with him.
There we go. Now you're in. Hey, Andrew. You got the race win. You did all that you could. You fought from 13th all the way up front. How stressful was it for you, buddy? It was entertaining to watch it, but how on edge were you?
Yeah, I kind of knew what I had to do today, and when we had that qualifying run, I didn't realize lap 2 was the lap, and we had to have him not lead, and we needed to lead the most laps and have him finish third or worse. So I knew it was a long shot at that point. We kind of just threw strategy, and it was a fun race, though. I mean, we got a long green flag run, and that was awesome. And I do want to say, let's bring the chase back, because that was entertaining. There was no rounds or eliminations or anything, and look at how fun that was to watch. So that's my pitch for that.
Just gonna talk about like the key moment of the race, that second caution that came out. Did you think you were in front of Trudell at all right away, or were you just as amazed as we were that you barely edged him to get back on the lead lap?
I'll be 100% honest. I wish I wasn't in front of him, because I would have got the wave there, or the lucky dog, and Matt would have been stuck a lap down. So I was shocked that I was. I mean, I must have barely been within an inch in front of him. So that kind of was lucky for me, and it kind of got us the win tonight. So I was happy with it.
Like we said, you did all that you could. You started 13th. Like that opening run in the qualifying, it didn't really show like that good straight line speed, but it really came to you at the end, didn't it?
Yeah, I said it a few weeks ago before we were in the road course and the super speedway. I figured something out. My pedals were misfiring. I don't think that was completely it. But it definitely helped me smooth out. I did a lot of practice, figured out the long run speed, and I think it showed tonight. We may have not been faster than Matt, but we were pretty dang close. I think, through that first one, we were about 5 seconds back, and by the time we pitted, we were 4 seconds. So we're doing something right. Still got a lot to figure out, but definitely improvement. So I was just happy to see that overall.
And you finished second in the championship. Unfortunately, don't get to defend this one. You go down just 2 points from Danson. But now we have the Cup Series to look forward to, and I bet you're looking forward to defending that one.
Yeah, I'll be honest. It's stressful every year. I hate to say it. It's kind of nice to lose this one. So you can go in next year not with all eyes on you and all the pressure. We got to remember we do this for fun, and defending every single year is a little bit of stressful, I'll say, but I'm so happy I was able to do it the last 2 years. And going into the Cup Series, there's a lot of good guys coming out. I know Matt is extremely good at road courses, and NASCAR, for whatever reason, wanted to put them all on the schedule. So, you might as well hand him 6-7 wins. But, we're going to do what we can. It's extremely hard in the Cup Series with the rounds, the eliminations. You need to be on your game. And, we almost didn't even make the Final Four last year. So, it's a lot of it's luck, a little bit of skill, so you got to have everything right to win that, and I'm just proud to win 3 over there, and, whatever happens this year.
All right, well, thank you, Andrew, and it was a pleasure in the booth just watching you two go at it. You guys were both amazing, and hats off to both of you, by the way. You both have been really respectful to each other, and I think the compliments to each other back and forth. It's great to see you two fight so hard and kind of respect each other so much.
Yeah, he's extremely talented, extremely clean. So I can't say enough good things about him, and I'm happy to hear he says the same thing about me. Just everybody in this league it's been clean to me, has been awesome. So you guys even for running it, it's overall probably the best league on iRacing.
All right, well, I'm going to let you get out of here, Andrew. Congratulations on the win. Sorry to not end the championship, but we'll see you out in the Cup Series.
Thanks so much, guys. Have a good week.
And we do have one more interview in store. A little bit of a dark horse that was fighting extremely hard all the way from the back of the grid. Daniel Eberhardt. Daniel, I know you weren't in the fight for the points, but you were giving both of those two a run for their money up front. How was the race for you? I know you stood in the back and had to make your way forward. Just how chaotic it was.
Oh, well, I got to make him earn it. I can't give it to him for free for the best man in the league right here. I'm just kidding. No, I told Danson down there when we were in the waiting room, I was like, I just was running you hard, man. It ain't got nothing to do with Drew. Me and Drew are like real close, so. But no, it ain't got nothing to do with that. It's got everything to do with, just wanting to run competitive and show him that, hey, I'm there. I just don't like road racing. You got it figured out on the road side, but I cannot let you just have it on this oval side. That's where I feel like I have the cup of tea at. But no, I qualified and then smacked the wall out of 2 every time. I don't know what it was. I guess it was the snow down the back straightaway. But no, all in all, it was a good race tonight.
Yeah, we saw you like really early on, like fighting hard with that mid pack of drivers, like the Braxton DeWeese, Kamer, Agnel Phillip was in that group, Lashinsky, Washington. Like, how was it, especially as those tires like wore off? Like, how difficult was it to control the car in that mid pack?
It was kind of weird because when you got a draft from somebody, it would shove the nose. But if you drove it in real deep, there was a couple drivers like Dominic Howell and Brian Chambliss. They were getting real loose. But kudos to the 3-car Braxton. I mean, he's put a lot of effort in, and I've noticed it these past couple weeks. He's been really up there, and that's pretty cool to see people, that start off kind of sloppy at the beginning of the season and come on strong at the end. There's a lot of people who really impressed me tonight, and I'm looking forward to the Full Throttle Cup Series with them.
So I know this Winter Series didn't go as planned for you. You had a couple wins, but there was a couple of just bad luck instances. What are you looking forward to the Cup Series now that this championship's set and done?
I really just to have fun. I mean, that's what it's all about, is to have fun and enjoy it. And it's Evan puts a lot of work into this, and it's his league, and he does a great job with it each and every week. And congratulations for getting sim seats on board. That's pretty cool. And also RaceSpot, man. It actually looks like a NASCAR race on there. I like the ticker, the last ticker, but this ticker just is amazing. Y'all put a lot of effort into that, and I really like it. I was just watching the race back, waiting on getting the interview, but yeah, I really like the ticker. And you're doing a great job in the booth. Just everything, man. It all came together, and it's just so fun being around a great group of guys.
All right, thank you so much, Daniel. And to make you feel better, I don't know if you've gotten to the point yet, but we had Evan at least pouring his heart out for everyone in the booth and all the drivers and everything that puts us together, at least for 2 laps under caution. So you have that to look forward to when you watch the race back.
Getting Evan to do anything like that's probably pretty hard.
All right, well, congratulations on the 2nd place finish, and we'll hope to see you do well in the Cup Series and maybe be a championship contender.
Thank you, buddy.
But as always, as I move our drivers back down in the TeamSpeak channel, a big thanks to all of them, not just for letting us borrow their time now for post-race interviews, but for committing to running all 10 weeks. I think that a majority of the field, we had 35 cars in the end, right? A majority of the field ran every single week. I know it's not an easy commitment, but a big thanks, to Matt Danson, Daniel Eberhard, Andrew Frinage, and everybody else, and Jonathan, to you as well for hanging out with Dylan and Hugo and everybody else. And I know that the Cup Series is a little bit of a longer undertaking, right? So this is actually the calmer part of the season, ironically enough. But just to confirm that it is that 2-point difference. Matt Danson is the champion, and you can see the margin there. Some shuffling. Kyle Trudell picks up a spot. He gets a top 5, but it's also done. A lot of the names that Daniel shouted out there. DeWeese gets a top 10 in the points. Leszczynski and Nieto all with gains to the bottom half of the top 10. But I stand by what I said, that this is probably one of the best championship battles I've seen, not just in RSR, and it's certainly up there in RSR, but, in my 6-7 years of calling races and seeing stuff. So it's awesome to see something come together. What a race, right? I mean, it still would have been a great night, still would have been a great season if that late yellow doesn't come out and doesn't change anything, but they made sure Matt had to work for it till the bitter end.
I was having trouble not cutting you and Dylan off because you two were talking about the caution. I was flipping out over here. I was like, did the 88 just get around the 7 and get back on the lead lap just then? Because that turned the whole race on its head. And I mean, I kind of agree with Andrew. I almost feel for him, and I think maybe the lucky dog would have been in a better situation, but it caused a lot of chaos for both of them. You can hear at the end how just drained they were. They were both fighting hard, and Eberhard was that real dark horse. He fought both of them hard. He was beating and banging on the back of the 88, and then that fight with Danson at the end, you could fit maybe a piece of paper in between those 2 cars, and that was it. But if this series is anything to show about the Cup Series, I think we're in for a wild ride. Even if it's a bit calmer, we're not concerned about points. We saw the talent tonight in the field. The top 10 all deserve underdog points. I wish I could give them to everyone. but like Agnell Phillip was up there. Trudell could have stolen the win if he just hold on a bit longer. Like it was good from everyone in the field.
But to that point, we got one more left on the year. So on that point, who do you think gets the bonus for our XPM underdog of the race?
I want to go with, and this may surprise you, I want to go with Liam Sheen, the 77. We saw in that first cycle get turned down pit lane, saves it.
Yeah, didn't
it's
even
all the way
speed.
up to second.
Yeah.
And in the end, fades back to 13th and comes back to finish the top 10 with damage, too. That 77 was not fully repaired. You saw the rear end was all torn up. So kudos to him for a really good drive tonight from the 77.
So he'll get a $5 bonus, and I know that the folks over at Extreme Performance Motorsports already made their $100 donation to 3 Square Food Bank, which we've been talking about all year. Upwards of $500, $600 now, probably donated through a bit of the entry fees. It was a very small entry fee, thanks to IWRAPS for covering a lot of the fees associated with the league. So it was a small entry fee, and it all went a majority of so to charity and whatnot this year. So providing more than 1,500 meals for families in need. And speaking of drivers, do we still have Dylan Coyle with us on the headset? Let's get you back in one more time. It was a quiet night for you. How would you assess your last Winter Series race of the year? And I know that you won't be there for Speed Weeks or the first half of Speed Weeks for the Cup Series because you're headed to some place called Daytona Beach, Florida, so you won't be in the virtual side. But your outlook headed into the Cup Series for your first time?
I'm looking forward to driving the Cup Series car. I've had the Xfinity car is probably the one I've had the least amount of practice coming into the series with compared to the trucks and the Cups, the Cup cars, and I feel like this race went as well as how messy my room is right now. Not the best. Honestly, quite disappointing at the end. I'm still in amazement of how the drivers can do so well at both staying in speed and also conserving tires. I can't find out how to do that yet. I do like to say I first started racing on the service in August, so there's a lot that I'm trying to learn, trying to keep up with. But I'm looking forward to the Cup Series. I feel like there will be less pressure for me to do well that I put on myself right off the bat. It's a shame I couldn't get a top 10 this season. I felt like I had a good chance at both Lucas Oil and Talladega, and with a few laps to go both times, was wrecked out in one way or the other. So, a learning process this season was, and I just got to come back with a lot more practice under my belt. And I know some of the drivers, I know some of the guys, and I thought it was. I only caused 2 cautions all year, and they were both in the first 2 races. Other than that, I didn't cause a caution, so.
We're going to put that on your car so the rest of the field knows for the Cup Series to not...
Well, I'm the one that designed his car, so I will get that squared away right now. I'm opening Photoshop as we speak.
You're kidding me.
Well, I'm going to open it right now. I'll share my screen and everything.
Oh, God.
It's not just the Cup Series coming up. I know we're still trying to finalize to get the IROC Series here on RaceSpotTV on some of the Monday night off weeks. There's also been talks from some partners that they might want to get our Truck Series back for a second straight season on Wednesdays and maybe get some of those on TV. So those will even be ones that I'll jump out of the booth for and get behind the wheel. I won't trust myself being an in-race reporter because
you're going to be on my Twitch stream. I think
there might be some expletives for the RaceSpotTV broadcast, so I'll come in and talk post-race or pre-race, but I don't know if I'll be live for those. But there is a lot of stuff coming up for RealSimRacing in 2021, and if you want to be a part of it, I know that registration's already filled up, by the way, after 4 minutes of public registration, so there was not a lot of time. The wait list is already there, but if you want to get on the wait list to be involved as a driver, go to RealSimRacing.org for more info on that. But also, if you want to partner with us, right? Sponsor a series, sponsor a race, get some exposure here on RaceSpotTV. You can find contact information on that website at RealSimRacing.org. Or go through the routine again, RealSimRacing.club, get your merchandise. 1 week left on Winter Series stuff. Cup Series stuff is already up. And that's it. We are 10 weeks down, and that is the end of this 2021 Winter Series. but it all starts again in 1 week's time. So at least until next time, and for the final time this season, on behalf of my entire team at RealSimRacing, for the entire RaceSpotTV crew behind the scenes and in the booth night in and night out, for Dylan Coyle, for Hugo Luis, for Jonathan Burke, and myself, Evan Pasoko, I want to thank you for tuning in, and congratulations to our first-time champion, Matt Danson, the champion of the 2021 RealSimRacing IWRAPS Winter Series. Well, the door has closed on the Winter Series. 2021 is just beginning. We'll be back here next Monday night from the virtual iRacing Superspeedway for the kickoff of the 2021 SimSeats RealSimRacing Cup Series with the SimSeats Clash. We'll catch you next time. That race and every race exclusively here on RaceSpotTV.